So just explain your meeting. You were at uni, weren't you?
That's right, at Leeds University, and I actually met David on the very first day of university.
And what was he like?
I didn't really know him. He was just a boy that came up to me on the very first day. I didn't know anybody. Obviously you don't when you go to university. And he just said, "Hi, my name's David, I'm from London, what's your name again?" And I said, "My name's Philomena." Obviously I had a chat about my name. And he just said, "Do you know, where are you going now?" And I just said, "I'm just going home." And he just said, "Would you like to go for a drink with me? Because we know we need to make friends and get to know people." And I just said, "Yeah, OK." I went for a drink with him.
And this friendship did turn into a relationship.
It did,
and
yes, over time.
You say you liked him and he was intelligent
nice.
and bright and fun. But about 6 months into the relationship, you started noticing that he was getting quite possessive.
That's right, yeah. It was just... He was fine while it was just me and him. As soon as anyone said, "Would you like to go, you know, out at the weekend to a party," and David would be like, "Well, either I'm coming or you're not going by yourself."
Well, it got too much eventually and you ended it, and that's when things began to start getting a bit ugly.
That's right, yeah. At first, it was fine. I mean, it probably was stalking at the time, but I was 19, I didn't realise it was... He used to send me flowers, fine, cards. We actually felt sorry for him. Me and my mum felt quite sorry for him. And then once he realised I wasn't actually going to go back out with him and actually got another boyfriend, that's when it all...
Well, he attacked the other boyfriend.
He's attacked every single boyfriend I've ever had.
But this is knuckle dusters. That's
Yeah.
So serious assault.
Serious assaults, yeah.
And it was at the end of university when you started a very serious relationship, actually, and the boyfriend at the time, his family, got quite involved, and you took him to magistrates' court, didn't you? Because this stalking was just
it was affecting every single person that I was with.
Yeah.
In 2005, got a lifetime ban, and everything was great for about 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
And then in 2009, he called you a mum, and he knew everything about you all.
Yeah.
What did he know?
He basically... Well, my mother called me and she said, "You're not going to believe this." We'd not heard from him for a few years. And she said, "You're not going to believe who's called the house today." And I said, "Who?" She went, "You'll never guess." And I said, "Who, Mum? Just tell me." She goes, he said, "It's David, Peggy. Do you remember me?" And she said, "David who?" And he goes, "You know, Crazy David from university."
Oh,
and I was like, "Oh, my God, what did he want?" And she said, "Well, he's saying, I hear Philomena's got married now and she's had a baby. Is this true?" And my mum said yes. I wish she'd have just put the phone down, but he must have just caught her off guard.
Absolutely.
He then found out email addresses for all of the people that your husband worked with.
He made it his business to find out everything about my husband, where he worked, all his work colleagues, his accountant, his gym, everything. And he sent emails to every single person that Nick knew.
And the nature of the email?
Basically saying, "Did you know my husband is a paedophile, a hard drug taker, a thief, a con man. You should not be in business with him." And my husband was just devastated, especially about the paedophile bit. I mean, it's not just a petty, "Oh, you're a thief, he's a drug taker." People were ringing him saying, "Oh, my God, we've had this about you, Nick. What's going on?"
Well, it got so bad, the letters and emails were also sent to everybody on your street. The people on your street were ringing the police saying, "We've got a paedophile at the end of the road."
Yeah, he sent it to all my neighbours.
You had to move, you've moved house countless
3 times. Yeah.
Wow. To try and get away from him and...
Because I couldn't... We moved, and then he found out where we lived again, and I'm thinking, how has this guy found... I don't understand how he keeps finding me, and someone said it's probably the electoral roll. So I've had to take myself off the electoral roll and just disappear, basically.
He was eventually arrested because he came back to the UK and he had an NHS hospital and he was going in for an operation, I think.
And the surgeon that was operating on him noticed that his name and picture was on one of these wanted lists and phoned the police and said, "This David Brett, he's here."
And when the police arrived, David got violent and beat up one of the police officers. So after he was arrested, he pleaded guilty at Leeds Magistrate Courts, but he was later found to have been unfit to have entered a plea. He was remanded in hospital under the Mental Health Act for 17 months until a doctor decided his mental state had improved enough for him to enter a plea. His lawyer told the court Brett suffered from persistent delusional disorder, and last week David admitted 3 breaches of a lifetime restraining order issued in 2005, plus 2 further counts of stalking and an assault on a police officer during his arrest last year. He's been jailed for 40 months and is set to serve half of this sentence in prison and the rest out on licence. However, because he's already spent 70 months on remand in a psychiatric hospital, he could be released as soon as February. So, where does that leave you and how are you feeling about that?
I'm devastated. I think the whole system's a joke. I've been completely let down. There's just nothing that the police can do now. He'll just continue. In fact, he'll probably be worse now because he's been in a mental institution for 17 months. He's lost his job, he's lost his business, he's got no income, he's probably lost his home, and he'll be out on the streets.
And you are
gunning for me.
Fearful for your
I think he's going
life?
to kill me, yes.
And what about the family?
I've tried to appeal it. The judge, it can't be appealed. These sort of stalking crimes can't be appealed. And I phoned the police and I said, what do I do now? And the police have just said, he's had his sentence, he'll serve his time, you just get on with your life now.
Which, of course, is easier said than done.
How can I get on with my life when I'm in fear for it?
Well, campaigners are asking for a stalker's register. And that is, you know, sort of essentially so that these things can be reported and can be tracked. I'm assuming that gets your full support.
It does, yes. It's like sex offenders have to be on a register so the police know at all times where they live, where they are, that sort of thing. Because he could just disappear into, you know, it could be anywhere. He could be dating your daughter, who knows next. And I just think it's really frightening that it's not taken really seriously.
And would something like that, or I guess even initially that first moment when you go to the police, to have somebody be a little bit more understanding of what
They're
it's
not
like?
understanding at all. I've been told, well, aren't you flattered? Aren't you flattered that you've got this guy that's so, you know, into you, following you around? I'm like, not really, no.
Well, the statement from the police...
I think it's a lack of police training. Yeah. They don't really have a handle on it at all.
The police have said we treat all offences of this nature very seriously. The continuous and vindictive nature of the offending in this case has had a long-term effect on the lives of victims. We're continuing to do everything we can to support them. We'll carry out a detailed investigation, and that has resulted in David Brett being convicted and given the maximum prison sentence possible for these offences. We'll do everything we can to continue to help victims and protect them from future distress. Stay safe.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for pointing it out
Lovely to
today.
meet you.
Thank you very much.